The views expressed on this program are not necessarily the views of Lexington Community Radio or its board of directors. The views expressed are solely those of the programmers.
You are listening to Off the Cuff. Now, here's your host, Adam Banks.
Welcome, everybody, to Off the Cuff. I am Adam Banks, coming at you live from Lexington, Kentucky. Thank you for listening to the show, and thank you for tuning in to WLXU 93.9 FM. In addition to listening on the radio, you can check out our Facebook live stream at Off the Cuff with Adam Banks, or you can stream the show live from the station website at MediaLex.us. I am broadcasting from my home studio. Happy New Year, everyone. This is the very first episode of 2026. It is January the 1st, the first page of the new year. Page 1 in the year 2026. This is a fresh start for everyone. Radio Lex, now Media Lex, is closed for the day, so I am broadcasting live from my home studio, so I appreciate those working from afar to make this broadcast happen today. What a year 2025 was. On the last episode, we did a whole year in review where we talked about the major things that happened in the year 2025. But folks, we are in a brand new year, the year 2026. And I want to start off the show with some big news for Off the Cuff with Adam Banks. I was checking my email this morning and I was notified that Off the Cuff with Adam Banks has been nominated for a World Entertainment Award. The show Off the Cuff with Adam Banks was nominated for Best Podcast, and it come to a complete shock to me. The show is on January the 31st in Los Angeles, California. Details still to come. I don't even know if I can make that happen. I would love to go and attend the award show, especially if they was to call my name. But what an honor it is, and what a great way to start off the new year for the show. I'm very, very excited. But folks, not only do we have big things happening here at Off the Cuff with Adam Banks, we all have a lot of great fun things to look forward to in the year of 2026. So let's talk about some of the fun, exciting things that we do have to look forward to this year in 2026. In January, of course, we got the 2026 College Football Playoff National Championship. It will be played this year at Hard Rock Stadium in Miami Gardens, Florida. On February the 1st, we've got the 68th Annual Grammy Awards, which is the same weekend as the World Entertainment Awards if I attend. So I would be in LA the same time that the Grammys would be going on. A big weekend of entertainment in Los Angeles that weekend. On February the 5th is the New START Treaty is scheduled to expire. Now, if you don't know what the New START Treaty is, it's a nuclear arms control agreement between the U.S. and Russia, and it was designed to limit and reduce the world's largest nuclear arsenal. So it's basically just a rule book that keeps U.S. and Russian nuclear weapon numbers in check and helps prevent nuclear escalation. That's supposed to expire on February 5th of this year. Also in February of this year, on February the 8th, we have another Super Bowl, and it's scheduled to be played at Levi's Stadium in Santa Clara, California. Bad Bunny will be performing the halftime show. From March 5th to the 17th this year, we have the World Baseball Classic, and it's scheduled to be held in the United States, including Puerto Rico as well, and in Japan. The championship game will be held at Lone Depot Park in Miami. In March of the 15th will be the 98th Academy Awards, which is scheduled to be at the Dolby Theater, as it is always in Los Angeles, and that is the award show that honors the best in films released in 2025. In April of this year is the Artemis program, which is what NASA is. That is where they are scheduled to launch Artemis 2, which is the first crewed mission of the Orion, in which 4 astronauts, Reed Wiseman, Victor Glover, Christina Koch, and Jeremy Hansen, will perform a flyby of the moon and then return to Earth. Anytime you are dealing with space, that is just I'm out. I I'm fascinated by space, but space really freaks me out. The people that go are really courageous people. They've got more grit than I do when it comes to going to space. April the 6th of this year is when the NCAA Division Men's 1 basketball tournament finale will be, and it will be held at Lucas Oil Stadium in Indianapolis. June the 11th to July the 19th, the United States will co-host the 2026 FIFA World Cup alongside Canada and Mexico, who will host the majority of the games during the tournament, including all games past the quarterfinals of the knockout stage, including the final, which will be held at MetLife Stadium in East Rutherford, New Jersey. So the World Cup is this year. I never watch soccer. I never give soccer the time of day, but every 4 years, it's kind of cool to check in to see what's going on with that sport. It is the World Cup. The whole world is facing off to see who can win that World Cup. The United States, I don't know when the last time we won a World Cup. We're not really a soccer country. When we're talking about the biggest sport in the world, it is soccer. Pardon none. They call it football everywhere else except here because we have our own American football. But soccer, as we call it here in America, is the biggest sport in the entire world. And America is not very strong in that sport. We're more of a baseball country, a basketball country, an American football country, but not necessarily soccer. On July 4th, which is the 4th of July, the United States will celebrate its 250th birthday as a nation. So happy birthday, United States, on July 4th, 250 years old. On August 12th, we're going to be able to see a total solar eclipse, and it's predicted to occur at the moon's descending node of the orbit in North America and Europe. The total eclipse will pass over the Arctic, Greenland, Iceland, the Atlantic Ocean, and northern Spain. In November of this year, on the 3rd, the 2026 United States midterm elections are scheduled to be held. In early 2026, the United States Treasury also plans to halt penny reduction. So no more new pennies will be made. Just think about that. Yes, pennies will still exist, all of the old pennies that are out there, but there will be no such a thing as a 2026 and beyond penny. No pennies will be made from this point on sometime in early 2026. And that, folks, is just a few things to look forward to in this year. I'm sure more things will get announced as the year progresses. We are only on day one, but those are the notable things that you can look forward to in the year 2026. Folks, you are listening to Off the Cuff with Adam Banks. We are live from my home studio, and we're going to take a short break, and we will be right back.
Should all acquaintance be forgot and never brought to mind?
Welcome back, everybody, to Off the Cuff. Adam Banks here with you. Last night was New Year's Eve. A lot of people spent it out with friends and family. Some people took the old-fashioned route and just watched it at home and watched the ball drop with Ryan Seacrest. I hope everybody had a good New Year's Eve. We are now in the first day of the year, January the 1st, 2026. As the calendar turns and we step into a brand new year, there's always mix of emotions. There's hope, there's reflection, there's excitement, and maybe a little uncertainty. But one thing for sure, folks, is we do have music. In all of the years that we live, music has a way of capturing all of that in just a few minutes. Some songs, when we listen to them, it makes us feel like we have a fresh start. Some songs remind us of who we want to be, and other songs are just meant to be played as the clock hits midnight, and this is one of them. This is one of the most popular New Year's song. I would say the most popular New Year's Eve song of all time. This is Auld Lang Syne. This is particularly, right now, this version is by Pentatonix. They released this version back in 2014, but folks, this song has been around for years. It's been around for over 2 centuries. It's been sung around the world at the stroke of midnight as a way of honoring friendships, memories, and the time that has passed. The phrase literally means old long since, or remembering days gone by. I love this version of the song. Pentatonics, they just have such fabulous harmony. I would love to see them in concert. But this song, folks, when you hear it, you think New Year's Eve, you think New Year's. And folks, we've talked about songs that are made about particular holidays. We've talked about songs that were particularly made for Valentine's Day, or songs that were made about Christmas, songs that were made about Thanksgiving. We've talked about on this show before. But folks, there are also songs that are saying about starting a new year, whether it be a New Year's Day song or a New Year's Eve song. And that's what I want to talk about today, folks, is I would like to talk about the best songs that are about starting the new year, because that's exactly where we're at right now. We're in a brand new year, and there is a lot of great songs that sing about situations that are going on in our life right now. And right now, everybody is going through the start of a new year. So let's look at some songs that you can add to your New Year's Day playlist. Songs that are about starting the new year. And there is a bunch of songs out there that particularly talk about starting a new year. One of those songs is New Year's Eve. This song is by Mo. It was released in 2016. This song captures the emotional side of New Year's Eve.
Stay the same when some don't. We say we'll stay around, though we know.
It's about connection. It's about honesty, making it perfect for reflecting on where you are and who you're sharing the moment with as the year changes. And we have a lot of songs that we can go through today, so I won't spend much time on each one. Here is another one.
This must be it. Welcome to the new year.
This is called Together We Will Ring in the New Year by Motion City Soundtrack, released in 2005. This is a classic countdown song. It's energetic, it's nostalgic, and it's full of just camaraderie. It reminds us that starting a new year doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be shared with the right people. We've got this classic right here by Taylor Swift. This is called New Year's Day.
Girls carrying the shoes down in the lobby.
This was released in 2017.
Candle wax and Polaroids on the heart.
It's instead of focusing on the party, this song focuses
From the night before.
on what comes after the party.
Read the last page, but I stay.
It's about staying, cleaning up, and choosing love once the confetti is gone. A beautiful metaphor for commitment and new beginnings.
But I'll be cleaning up bottles with you on New Year's Day.
This next one here is called Confetti. It's by Benny. It was released in 2019. We're talking about the best songs that are about starting the new year. Songs that you can add to your New Year's Eve or New Year's Day playlist.
Friends, strangers, everybody together, let's celebrate.
This song has a bittersweet tone. This song feels like that moment when the excitement fades and reality sets in. It's perfect for reflecting on lessons learned and stepping into the new year a little bit wiser. This next song is called New Year's Day.
Think we'd be alright. What a life, man, what a life. From the cradle to the grave, our screaming echoes will remain.
This song is by Robbie Williams. It was released in 1998. This song leans into loneliness and introspection. Emotions many people feel once the celebration ends. It's honest, it's vulnerable. And this song is a reminder that a new year can start quietly, not just loudly. Some people do go into the new year very lonely. There are some people that don't have anybody to kiss at midnight. They might not have friends with them. They might not have family with them as the clock turns 12. And that's what this song focuses on. So maybe you were in a situation like that last night or today.
We're fighting for, but I can't do it
next song is called This Is the New Year by A Great Big World, released in 2012.
Another year you made a promise, another chance to turn it all around. And do not save this for tomorrow. Embrace the past and you can live for now.
This song was released in 2012. It's optimistic, it's uplifting. This song feels like a clean slate. It's about believing that change is possible and that the new year can be a turning point. This is exactly the message many people want to hear, so it's a great positive song to get you in a good mood for the new year.
We are the voices of the underground.
Here's another one.
Maybe it's much too early in the game. Oh, but I thought I'd ask you just the same. What do you do in New Year's Eve?
This song is called What Are You Doing New Year's Eve by The Head and the Heart. This was released in 2011. This is a warm indie take on a classic question. What are you doing on New Year's Eve? How many times do you get asked that? What's your New Year's Eve plans? This version feels intimate and heartfelt. It focuses on togetherness and just simple plans. It's perfect for a cozy New York Eve vibe. All right, this next song here is called This Year by J.J. Heller.
This year, I'm not looking back to who I was.
This is a great song for New Year's. It's all about intention. It's gentle, it's hopeful, and it focuses on choosing growth and grace. It's a great soundtrack for New Year's resolutions and a fresh start.
Focused on the cracks in the walls, not keeping track of all the times I fall. Maybe I left you.
All right, here is another one. This one's called New Year's Eve by Pale Weaves, released in 2021. This song blends nostalgia and longing with a dreamy indie sound. It reflects on love and memories tied to the end of the year. It makes it ideal for listeners looking back before moving forward. Just remembering the year before you move into something so fresh.
I always said you were too shy. But then I went.
All right, here's another one. It's called The New Year by Death Cab for Cutie, released in 2003. It's thoughtful. It's slightly, I don't know. This song acknowledges that a new year doesn't magically fix everything, but it does offer a chance to begin again. If you're just now joining us, we're talking about the best songs that sing about a new year. And this is Death Cab for Cutie with their song simply entitled The New Year. Death Cab for Cutie always writes music that is a little off the beaten path. So, of course, if they were going to pick a holiday to sing about, they would pick New Year's, not really Christmas or anything else.
So this is the new year. I don't feel any different.
All right, this next song, folks, is called NYE, which probably stands for New Year's Eve. It's by Family of the Year, released in 2012. This is a soft, reflective, and emotional song. This song feels like a late night conversation. It's about relationships. It's about time passing and the quiet significance of the moment before a new year begins. What a great song to add to your playlist and just vibe to today, as it is January the 1st, 2026. Starts off with some beautiful humming, sets the vibe before it dives into the lyrics, which is what a great song should do. This song is all the way together a vibe. All right, this next song by Pansy Davison is called Kiss Me at Midnight. This is one of my favorites. It was released in 2019. It's fun, it's romantic, and it's a great countdown song.
Well, it wasn't the worst year, but it wasn't the best.
This song captures the excitement of that one perfect moment at midnight, full of anticipation, love, and possibility. But I tell you, waiting for someone to kiss on New Year's, there's a lot of pressure to that. Because if you didn't go with nobody to kiss, sometimes you pick a random person in the bar or the room to kiss, and a new flare-up could happen.
So kiss me at midnight on New Year's Eve.
All right, this next song is called New Year's Eve by Mel Blum. She sings a little acoustic version of this song. I love when singers just take a guitar and strum it and sing.
It's a happy new year, I'm making guacamole. You couldn't even pick up the fucking phone and call me. I don't like my t-shirt, I don't like my blue.
This song was released in 2015. It's honest and raw. This song focuses on anxiety, self-reflection, and the pressure people feel at the end of the year. It resonates with anyone who approaches January with mixed emotions.
It's a happy new year, last year was so stupid. Most of us were drunk and even more of us were puking.
All right, this next song is called This Will Be Our Year by The Zombies, released in 1968.
Of your love's like the one.
This is one of the most hopeful songs ever written. It's a declaration of optimism and belief that the coming year will be better, making it a timeless New York anthem.
This will be our year. Took a long time to come, and I won't forget the way you helped me up when I was down, and I won't forget the way you said, "Darling, I love you." You gave me faith.
All right, coming up next on the list, we're talking about songs that are the best songs that sang about a new year, whether it be New Year's Eve or New Year's Day. This particular song is by the Great Lake Swimmers, called Gonna Make It Through.
I am 6 feet under snow, and I have nowhere to go.
Released in 2007, this is a quiet and reassuring song. It feels like a promise to yourself. It's perfect for reminding listeners that survival and resilience are victories worth celebrating in a new year. All right, I've got two more songs to play with you, or for you rather. Songs talking about starting a new year. This next song is called New Year's Eve Party by George Thorogood, or George Thorogood. This is also one of my favorites.
Going to a party tomorrow night. The Philly kids will be there and they'll look out of sight.
This song was released in 1985. This is pure party energy. This song is about letting loose and celebrating the moment. It's perfect for kicking off the new year with a little rock and roll swagger.
Nancy and Noreen are bringing Nadine, Judy and Janie and Josephine, Long John and Larry.
All right, this is the last one here. This is called New Year's Eve by Derek Nelson, released in 2018. This is a smooth, reflective track that focuses on gratitude, relationships, and moving forward with intention.
Well, I know that there's always the question, where will you be the biggest night of the year? And And I don't mean to throw on the pressure, but 12 o'clock midnight is undoubtedly near.
It's a calm, thoughtful way to close out the new year, and that, folks, are some of the best songs out there that are about starting the new year. So those are some songs to add to your playlist, especially for a day like today, the first page of the new year. I thought that was a fun segment and another way we can include music into our holiday. All right, folks, we still have lots more Off the Cuff with Adam Banks coming at you live after these words. Stick with us. We'll be right back.
This must be it. Welcome to the new year. The drinks were consumed, the plants were destroyed, and the hors d'oeuvres dismantled.
Welcome back, everybody, to Off the Cuff. Adam Banks here with you. It is January the 1st, 2026. Happy New Year, everyone. This is our New Year's Day special.
Completely ignored.
A lot has happened on this day in history, January the 1st. There are a lot of famous events that happened on New Year's Day, and it makes sense because think about it. January 1st is a great day to start a new policy, to start a new law, to launch a new business. It's the first day of a year. It's a great defining date to start something new. So it makes sense that a lot of famous events happened on New Year's Day. And let's talk about some of them right here. On this day, January the 1st, New Year's Day, back in 1797, a long time ago, that is when Albany replaces New York City as the capital of New York. A lot of people think that New York City is the capital of New York, but it is Albany. And I say that hoping that I'm right. I hope that that's not changed throughout the years because I would really feel stupid. For some reason, I would have said that New York City is the capital of New York, but nope, Albany is, and it was replaced in 1797. Back in 1852 on New Year's Day is when the first U.S. public bath opens in New York City. In other words, the first public bathroom in the United States opened on New Year's Day back in 1852. Think about all of the rest areas and all of the public bathrooms that are out there in stores and places that you can just stop and use the bathroom. The very first one opened on New Year's Day back in 1852, and of course, that was in New York City. On this day, 1863, is when Abraham Lincoln issues the Emancipation Proclamation to free enslaved people in Confederate states. Also, Abraham Lincoln, in 1913, U.S. Post Office begins parcel post deliveries. On this day, January the 1st, 1916, is when the first blood transfusion using stored and cooled blood is performed. The very first blood transfusion. Thank God for those. On New Year's Day in 1966, this is interesting, all U.S. cigarette packs have to carry caution: cigarette smoking may be hazardous to your health. So before the 1960s, you could buy cigarettes without any label warning you of the health benefits. But in 1966, that all changed. And also on New Year's Day, back in 1971, cigarette advertisements were banned on television. You can look up old cigarette TV commercials on YouTube. They're great. They had some great marketing. And they were no longer able to advertise on television their product. So that's how powerful cigarettes are if you think about it. A product that is banned from being able to advertise on television still sold numerous amounts of their product, and they had to go through other avenues to advertise. They had to use the internet. They had to just go by word of mouth. They had to go by putting out jackets and flyers and pens and notepads. They had to put their product on other things. And back then in the 70s, there was nothing bigger than television for a platform. So the fact that they could not advertise on television really speaks a lot of volume about how powerful cigarettes were. On New Year's Day, 1974, NBC Radio begins on the hour news 24 hours a day after CBS already did so. So NBC decided to make their news radio 24 hours on New Year's Day in 1974. On New Year's Day, 1985 is when the U.S.'s first mandatory seatbelt law goes into effect, and that went into effect in New York State. So I've been pulled over for not wearing a seatbelt before, a very juvenile thing. Everybody should wear their seatbelts, but I do think it's a personal choice. I think that if you get behind the vehicle without a seatbelt, you are endangering your life, and that is your decision. I don't think you should be penalized if you feel like that you could be safer in a vehicle without a seatbelt. Now, do I think that you're safer with a seatbelt on? Absolutely. Do I think people should wear their seatbelt? Absolutely. But it is a personal choice. I don't think you should be fined for not wearing a seatbelt if you don't choose to do so. Now, kids in a seatbelt is a different story. Babies don't have that choice. So by law, babies, kids should be required to wear a seatbelt, and the parents or the driver, rather, should be punished if they are caught not wearing a seatbelt. And I think that seatbelts, I've heard people say that they don't like wearing a seatbelt. Some people have been in accidents, and they say that if they had their seatbelt on, they would have died because they would have been decapitated. A lot of people claim that wearing a seatbelt is more dangerous. That's why I feel like it is a personal choice. On New Year's Day, 1985, VH1 made its broadcasting debut. VH1 was kind of like the little brother of MTV. They showed music videos, but they also really was the first to start showing reality shows. Now, MTV followed their lead, and that kind of killed the video business plan of MTV, but VH1 was always a great channel. It was just another branch of music television back in the day. Music videos were so important back in the 80s and the 90s. Making a music video was just important as making a good song. People would relate your song to the music video, and whenever they would listen to the song, they would picture the music video in their head. So making a good music video was so important, and VH1 was a great channel. It's still on the air. It's still a great channel. And they have released a lot of great content on VH1, a lot of original content. They're more into the reality TV show world more than music videos, but it's still a great channel. And 1985 was just a prime year for music videos. MTV couldn't hold it all. That's why they had to do another channel, VH1. On New Year's Day, 1996, after 27 years, Betty Rubble debuts as a Flintstone vitamin. Before 1996, you could buy Flintstone vitamins, and Betty Rubble was not a part of the vitamin crew. You could get Fred, you could get Wilma, you could get Pebbles, but you could get Barney, but you could never even get Betty, Barney's wife. But that all changed in 1996. It was a big deal. Flintstone vitamins actually, their sales went through the roof when they announced that Betty Rubble was going to be a part of the Flintstone vitamins. I used to take Flintstone vitamins as a kid. That is a vitamin I would say is the most popular child vitamin in the world. And a lot of adults I know still take the Flintstone vitamins. It still does the trick. Just because you grow up and become an adult doesn't mean that the Flintstone vitamins are no longer effective for you. On this day, January the 1st, 1998, all California bars, clubs, and card rooms must be smoke-free. And that just started the trend of everybody following in line and making restaurants and bars and clubs smoke-free. And finally, on New Year's Day last year, 2025, a tragic event happened. That is when a 42-year-old American Army veteran plows through through New Year's Eve celebration on Bourbon Street in New Orleans in a rented pickup truck. 14 people died and dozens were injured. The driver was killed in a shootout with police. And I remember that happening because it is so fresh back when that happened on New Year's Day in New Orleans, when just some crazy lunatic drove his truck through people celebrating their holiday. And that happened just a year ago on this day. And anytime you have people gathering like that, anytime there's a big celebration, a lot of people together, it's a good place to target if you're wanting to hurt a lot of people at once. So again, that's why I always tell people to be safe, be mindful, be aware of your surroundings. Sometimes there's nothing you can do in situations like that. When you're just having a good time and a crazy lunatic comes out of nowhere in a car, before you can move out of the way, you're hit. You just got to pray for protection and God's guidance during those big celebrations. But those are some major events that happened throughout history on New Year's Day. Folks, this seems like a great place to take Off the Cuff's Song of the Week break. Nothing is better than hearing this song by Frank Sinatra, New York, New York. They played this song right after the ball drops and you hear a lang lang sign, or however you say that song. But they always played this song after it. While people are celebrating the new year. So we're going to make it Off the Cuff's Song of the Week. We'll be back after the song.
These vagabond shoes. New York.
I love that song by Frank Sinatra, New York, New York. There is nothing more American than that on New Year's Eve, bleeding right over into New Year's Day. You hear that song right after the ball drops, everybody's celebrating. Doesn't Frank Sinatra just remind you, his voice remind you of my brother? I played my brother on this show a couple of weeks ago, and everybody says he reminds them of Andy Williams, Frank Sinatra, because he sings those old classic songs like that. If you've not heard my brother sing, he's got a TikTok. He's not big on other social media platforms. When I say he's not big on there, he doesn't get on there often, but he does get on TikTok and he sings live performances. And I would love for people to go check him out. If you like Frank Sinatra, you would like my brother Elijah. So I love that song. So I had to make it Off the Cuff's Song of the Year. Folks, we still have one more segment to go. You are listening to Off the Cuff with Adam Banks, the very first show of 2026. Stick with us. We will be back.
This year, I'm not looking back to who I was.
Welcome back, everybody, to Off the Cuff. Adam Banks here with you. Last segment of the hour. It is January the 1st, the very first episode of Off the Cuff with Adam Banks for the year 2026. And we know that today's big holiday is New Year's Day. But folks, today is also another national holiday. It is National Ring a Bell Day, and that is celebrated on January the 1st. It gives us even more reason to love New Year's Day. This lesser known but still fascinating festival honors bells, bell towers, bell makers, and bell ringers from all over America. Ringing in the new year is a long established tradition, and there's no better to ring it in than using a bell. Did you know that early missionaries, they rang bells to indicate when it was time for people to attend worship? Back in 1776, people rang the Liberty Bell to celebrate the independence of America from Great Britain. In 1850, the famous poet Alfred Tennyson writes poems about ringing in the new year. In 2012, the largest harmonically tuned bell in the world is made and named the Olympic Bell. Here are some fascinating facts about bells that I think that you should know. In the Middle Ages, people thought that bells carried magic and could ring themselves on special occasions. Also, the end of World War I and World War II was celebrated by ringing, you guessed it, bells. During the Reformation of 1536 in the UK, monastic abbeys and buildings were desecrated by the removal of many church bells. In the Middle Ages, bell makers would travel from village to village, casting bells in molds near a cathedral or church because the bells were too heavy to be moved by mule. And then finally, listen here, on March the 16th, 1767, a band of 8 young men rang a peal of Bob Major for over 6 hours. They rang a bell of Bob Major for over 6 hours in the UK. Ringing a bell for 6 hours would get a little annoying, I'm not going to lie. But bells just kind of indicate something important. It indicates it's time to worship. I know a lot of people that used to ring a church bell, and that meant that church service was starting. I remember as a kid, I went to a church, and it was the church I grew up in, and the church would ring a bell at the start of every service. That would let everybody know to come in. It was time to come in, time to worship. The service was getting ready to start. There is the dinner bell. People will ring a dinner bell when it's time to eat, and people will ring a bell at the start of an event or at the end of an event. That's why ringing in the new year is a saying, because people will ring a bell to celebrate the end of a new year and the start of a new year. So ring your bell, baby, because it is a new year. It is 2026. Folks, I am so happy to be in a brand new year. We had a great year on Off the Cuff with Adam Banks in 2025. I can't wait to see what this year holds for the show. And I want to thank everybody for listening. As you do every single year, I hope to make 2026 the best year ever. If you like today's show, you'll probably like all of our previous episodes. We archive them all on Spotify, YouTube, Apple Podcast, or wherever you stream your podcast. You can follow the show on social media at Off the Cuff with Adam Banks. You can follow me, the show host, on social media at The Adam Banks. We release new episodes every Thursday from 4 to 5 right here on WLXU 93.9 FM, and we release episodes on Tuesday nights at 9 p.m. on WMMT in Whitesburg. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Off the Cuff, and I am the king of radio, Adam Banks. I'll catch you down the road.